Sonic could be exclusive to Xbox only. Some of you may have heard recently that Microsoft has acquired Activision/Blizzard, and that is a really big acquisition for Microsoft because Activision is a huge company already on its own. And there's also some other really big reasons why some people are pretty happy that they have actually been acquired due to some controversy with Activision. And I myself actually am kind of happy that they are acquired by Microsoft to hopefully reform that company, because that company is pretty toxic. But before I tell you what this has to do with Sega or Sonic, I have a word from our sponsor that I'm pretty happy to share today. Today's video is sponsored by Opera GX. It's the first web browser designed for gamers. A lot of you out there, I know you game a lot on your PC. Opera GX has become the main browser that I now use due to so many amazing features that will make it pretty tough to go back. They allow you to limit the RAM and CPU usage through GX Control. They also have a network limiter that limits the bandwidth for your browser. And I know accessibility is important, so they have a quick import feature to bring over your settings from your previous browsers, such as bookmarks, history, passwords, and cookies. It also allows you to download Google Chrome extensions off the Chrome Web Store. Another great feature is the sidebar. It has an integrated social media channels with things like Twitter and as well as Twitch. And the GX player on the sidebar allows you to play songs through many different apps. And all this is accessible and customizable through the sidebar. And last but certainly not least, GX Mobile is a great web browser for mobile, and it can be connected to the desktop version. It has a feature called My Flow that allows you to send links to the desktop version as well as images and videos. Click the link below to get the best web browser experience there is. But getting into it, so what does Sega or Sonic have to do with getting bought by Microsoft? Well, like I mentioned earlier, Microsoft has been buying a lot of stuff. They opened new game studios, they bought Bethesda, they just bought Activision for $70 billion, and now I'm sure they're ready to buy some more things. And honestly, Sega has been a very big contender for getting bought by Microsoft. Here's my first point. Jeff Keighley, the creator of the Game Awards, and he's just an overall gaming industry insider, has a tweet that says, if you are wondering about other big game companies that could be acquired, here's who remains. Market caps: EA, Take-Two, Nexion, Bandai Namco, Embracer, Netmarble, Ubisoft, Konami, Square Enix, Capcom, and Sega. And Sega is the cheapest one on this list for $3.6 billion. And don't get me wrong, $3.6 billion is still a lot of money, but if you're comparing this to other big acquisitions in the industry, here are some other really big ones. Honestly, Disney buying Lucasfilm, who makes Star Wars, was only $4 billion. And Sega is just under $4 billion, so it's still quite big. But the biggest of all time, of course, is Disney buying 21st Century Fox, and Microsoft now buying Activision and Blizzard, also according to this IGN post. The fact that Microsoft can just drop $70 billion on Activision and Blizzard makes it so easy for something like Sega to get picked up. And point two of why Sega is extremely likely to get picked up. And out of all of these companies listed, Sega is probably the closest partner with Xbox next to Square Enix. The reason that Phantasy Star Online 2 is even in the West is because of Microsoft. Microsoft helped actually get this game in the West, and they closed in the deal with Sega for PSO2. Obviously PSO2 is on Steam now and everything, but that just goes to show you how much Xbox cares about Sega's products and how they probably wouldn't mind actually acquiring Sega. Another exclusive deal that has been done recently is actually Yakuza Like a Dragon was actually an Xbox Series X timed exclusive, which is pretty big because besides Sonic, Yakuza has become probably their second biggest franchise that they have, besides also Persona, which is done by Atlus. But in-house Sega stuff, Yakuza Like a Dragon was their next big game, and it did really well, and I think it's actually the best selling in the entire series. And my third point isn't really going off facts, but more so just speculation. I think Xbox realizes the value of Sega and their properties and the iconicness that they bring, like Sonic, so I feel like them acquiring that company and funding them as much as possible to create the best products would probably be in their best interest. Let's think about this now. They have Banjo-Kazooie. They don't do anything with it, but they have it. They now even have Crash Bandicoot and Spyro through owning Activision. And I think their next Infinity Stone would be getting Sonic to compete with Mario. Or at least that's probably how they still view it. I think right now Xbox is playing the nice guy act, building up their brand reputation with Game Pass and kind of collaborating with other companies. I think that stuff will still continue, but they're still trying to compete in a different way, and I still think they want to bring the best experiences possible, whether that's buying your favorite companies or just doing something crazy. So as far as we know, these companies still operate on their own even under Microsoft, but Microsoft gives the... So what we do know is that Microsoft just owns these companies. So what we do know is that these recently bought companies by Microsoft still operate pretty much on their own, but they just get an insane amount of funding from Microsoft because Microsoft is a money machine. Quite literally, it is a money machine. They have so much money that they're not even really making a lot of money from Xbox, and they're just making it because I feel like they got into the gaming industry so long ago, they just have to keep it up because they're just iconic now. But I think SEGA would get an insane amount of funding and probably a more nudge from their bigger company to make more kinds of games, rather than just sticking to Sonic and Yakuza, and rather just try to make everything as big as possible, which I think is what SEGA really needs, is to make everything as big as possible. Sonic Frontiers is already a very highly budgeted game from what we know, and from what they said from shareholder conferences and whatnot and press releases that we know, the game is budgeted and it has quality according to them, and they're very, very confident in that. And I feel like if something like Microsoft bought them, then they would be able to continue to produce that on an even larger scale. SEGA has this huge plan to create something called super games, which are billion-dollar games or something like that, or just enormous games that are self-sustaining, and they call them super games. And I don't know if SEGA could actually achieve that. I feel like they would probably need a lot of money, and maybe there already are talks with Microsoft and SEGA, and SEGA getting bought out, and maybe these super games is gonna come from actually getting bought by Microsoft. That's just all speculation, but honestly, that's what I think about Sonic if he were to go to Xbox exclusive. And I guess the last thing would be, am I okay with Sonic going Xbox exclusive? And honestly, I don't think it would be the greatest idea to limit Sonic to just one console, because I do think Sonic is really big on Nintendo nowadays, and on top of that, a lot of people on PlayStation also do play Sonic. I think it would really shake things up for a lot of people, and a lot of people feel forced to get an Xbox. Some people already felt forced to get an Xbox if they wanted to play Sonic Unleashed in the best way possible. So I guess that's preparation for it, if I'm being honest. But another thing is that if Sonic is going Xbox exclusive, that means it's also going to be on PC. Pretty much every new Xbox game is on PC, and it has been like that for the last couple years. So someone like me, at least, I would be perfectly fine if it went Xbox because it wouldn't affect me, but I know that it would affect a lot of others. But overall, that's my take, and that's the information that I have about if SEGA were to get bought by Microsoft and what I think about it. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below, and hit the like button, and like always, subscribe if you enjoyed it so you can get more of this, and I'll see you in the next one.